So, hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about a specific, very niche issue that affects basically no one, except I guess people that like playing certain types of rogue decks. So, let's say I am just playing with my rogue deck. It's chill. I hear, oh, there is now new support. I can't wait to play with this new support, right? And then you look at the new support in question, and it's just like, oh, it's just a freaking floodgate, ain't it? And then this is your support. It's just this, just a random ass floodgate. Okay, so we have Ghost Meets Girl, for example. Tribute one Mayakashi or Shiranui Synchro or Link monster. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or extra deck for the rest of this turn. You'd banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished zombie monsters, return it to the graveyard. You can only use one effect per turn and only once that turn. So yeah, the main thing about this card is that it's being used with rollback. But aside from that, if we were to use it in Archetype, this is just a floodgate, ain't it? This doesn't even have anything interesting about it. You just tribute either a Mayakachi or Shiranui, Synchro or Link monster. And then, well, it does say neither player, but you've already done your turn, so now your opponent cannot special summon monsters except from the graveyard, basically. So, in other words, Lingering Floodgate your opponent cannot special summon is another way we can describe this card. So, yeah, cool. Completely disgusting, really. So now, this, I mean, as support, technically this is a very powerful card, right? But issue, this isn't fun for necessarily either player. It's not particularly interesting. It's just a random Lingering Floodgate for some reason. And now, if your deck does get good support, now you also have this card in your arsenal, which is disgusting. So let's assume we get some I guess insane support, like some archetypes, like for example DD. We have like Sprite. If the power level of this deck or consistency, like just a combination of the two, I guess, we get to the levels of like Sprite, like support that brings us to the same level as like Sprite or DD or something like that. Fiendsmith, whatever. Now we have this Floodgate nonsense. Plus now our deck's actually good, and then that's problematic now. So simple solution of what's going to happen: we're not going to get any support now. We're just going to get left with this. Yeah, cool. Now we're just left with a floodgate. And there are so many cases where you have like a deck like that you might like to play and you're looking forward to some new support, and then you just get some random ass floodgate like this, and then what do you want me to do with this? This doesn't make like my consistency any better. That like all my pieces aren't any better than they were before. But now I have like an instant win potentially if I specifically go first. Not so much going second even, because you know all of the existing problems of your deck they still exist. So yeah, great. Now we have this. Another deck where this is the case where they just kind of just dropped Floodgate and called it a day. We have Archetype. Specifically, it was this one, I think, right? Yeah. So we have Archetype Polar Star, which you can just kind of synchro-ish summon, special summon this, and then you have this effect here. You can tribute a level 8 Archetype monster from your hand or field and this card. Special summon a level 7 Archetype Synchro monster from the extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and then it gains this effect. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. So you would special summon Septentrion with this, essentially. And then this will now have the combined effects of let's see. Negate the effects of face-up monsters without a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. So this card by itself essentially makes Xyz monsters and Link monsters skill drained. Kinda, yeah? And then when we combine it with Polar Star, now it makes it so you can't activate any monster effects, period. So, wait, this is even more jank, I thought. So this one negates the effects, the other one prevents activations. So if you had like the kind of droplet tech, not specifically droplet, of course, because you'd be able to negate this guy, but if you had like the droplet like tech, then you with this card, and if you have a monster with a level in particular, you wouldn't be able to actually do that. You wouldn't be able to go chain link 1, activate your effect, and then chain link 2, send it because or tribute it for cost or whatever, because this prevents activations. You would be able to against this effect though, which is just absolutely jank. But you know, this is basically the only support they gave to Archetype is just like the single card here, which is just Floodgate. And then we have like Dinomorphia, for example. You know, Dinomorphia free Rexterm. You know, you just bring out Kentragina and you play some control with these traps. Now it's like, okay, I'll just turbo out Rexterm and then just sit on this skill drain. It's the same thing. You're just turboing out a Floodgate. There's no interaction. You just barely use any of the existing tools in your deck. Like all these Dynamorphia cards you see in your deck, right? Like, do we really care about any of these? Like, do they matter? Do they do anything anymore? Like, barely, right? I guess they're searchable by some of the Dynamorphia cards. You got that going, I guess. But aside from that, you can just slap in some Solemns, call it a day. Like, it doesn't make the deck any less playable if we literally cut every single Dynamorphia card except for like Domain and Frenzy in terms of like the traps, right? And we just turbo out Rexarm. It's like basically the same deck. You're not seeing much of a difference. It plays like virtually the same. So great. But of course, like this deck also completely turbo ass going second, right? So if I were to let's see, if I were to just make a really big guy, you just can't beat it. Like, kind of. So if I make like a 6-mat Arrival, then there's no out for that in the Dinomorphia archetype. Or, you know, if I just make like a somewhat decent end board, we can just completely clap you up and it's not even close. So just for example, we could do stuff with like Punk, like just regular Punk, where you can just like Amazing Dragon, bounce back all your back row in the end phase, call it a day. Sure. And then if you did have something, it's not really going to be like that. So, yeah. It's pretty chill, I guess. Well, it depends a little, I suppose, but yeah, you know, just the general idea, right? But what I'm trying to say here essentially is just like, why are we just giving like support like this? It's just like it's you're not getting any consistency. You're not getting anything like to really help out your deck too much. You're just getting a Floodgate, and then it just invalidates the rest of your cards essentially to the point where now that it's become a Floodgate deck, you don't even want to give it support. So it's just completely a terrible situation. So this, in my opinion, negatively affects people who wanted to play these decks or want to play these decks, and then this negatively affects anyone that has to play against this crap because you know they're just getting floodgated. There's no real gameplay, no back and forth, no nothing here. So yeah, if you're going second, you just auto lose because your deck is terrible. You're going first, there's no game. Your opponent auto loses if they don't have hand traps, but you still will auto lose if they have hand traps. So that's also terrible. But you know, if they don't have hand traps or nothing, they'll just lose because you know you just set up a floodgate that your opponent can't really do anything about. Then you OTK them the next turn. That's the usual pattern now. And I don't even know how many, like I can't remember off the top of my head how many archetypes they've done dirty like this, where it's like, oh look, cool archetype, whoa, and then they just go, oh, yeah, you know what? Now we'll just Floodgate. Oh, this is kind of also in that kind of category of deck with like Mimical Dungeon. Oh look, any player who controls a face-down monster cannot normal summon monsters nor declare an attack with monsters that were special summoned this turn. I know a word for this, Floodgate. And then we have this effect as well. This turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from your hand. So, Floodgate X2. Whoa, Floodgates. Crazy. And then, this hasn't happened yet, but I mean, at this point, if we get like Ashen support, I'm expecting it to just be like some sort of Floodgate, like just period. Maybe we get like a monster that says some garbage like, uh, your opponent's pyro monsters on the field cannot activate their card effects or whatever, or just some garbage like that. And then maybe we even get like another continuous trap or something that's the effect of like, all monsters your opponent controls or all monsters period in the field and graveyard become pyro monsters or some shit. Just terrible, basically. Yeah, that could happen. And then all of a sudden, you know, not only are you under like a zombie world like effect, then all of a sudden you're also under like a skill drain essentially. It's kind of like a ghetto in this case, I guess, like skill drain Necro Valley type situation that with zombie world. Like that's probably what I'm expecting for Ashen support at this point, if we ever get Ashen support. Like I haven't really checked to see if there has been Ashen support at least, and usually even if there is support, I usually don't check it until it arrives in Master Duel. But yeah, this is the kind of thing we're going to be expecting, I suppose. Like, just imagine if for Vanquish Soul, they just looked at this and decided, huh, we have a cool archetype that plays very uniquely, unlike every other archetype. Should we add something in the game? Like, the only issue this deck has is that its consistency is kind of terrible, just for a billion different reasons. We'll start with the fact that you have to run guys you can't even normal summon or do anything with by themselves in hand. We have Caesar, Xiaolong, Viborger, and then we have these spells and traps that require Vanquish Soul monsters, which are also dead if you have no Vanquish Soul monsters. Even if you do, you know, hand trap, one hand trap, and then you have no follow-up. So imagine if Konami just took a look at this and decided, you know what? All we're going to do for this deck now is we're just going to add a Vanquish Soul version of like Recreate. I believe that was the name of the card. So if we go Clee and we look at Recreate, if a monster is normal or flip summoned and is a level 4 or lower monster, negate its effects until the end of this turn. If a monster is special summoned and it is a level 5 or higher monster, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Also banish it when it leaves the field. So simply put, this is skill drain. Yeah. So imagine we just had like some kind of skill drain or Tikaboo that is just searchable with Vanquish Soul. So it's just like, while you control a Vanquish Soul rock or some garbage, like I don't know, like, where is it? Rock of the Vanquisher? Yeah, that's what it was called. So maybe there's like a card effect that says, whilst you control Rock of the Vanquisher, you're both players are under Tikaboo essentially. Yeah, I'm not even going to read out the whole effect. And of course, it's going to be a Vanquish Soul card, which means it's searchable by Madlove. So now your main combo would be like normal summon Rosin, add Madlove, link off Rosin, special summon Madlove, search your Floodgate, and then you just like set that, flip that up, and then you pass, and then that's like your deck essentially. And you know what? Going first, that sounds like a completely broken strategy, honestly. But yeah, that would only be doable if you open the pieces you need still to kind of go into the Floodgate here in this case. But yeah, that's the kind of energy I'm getting from a lot of these archetypes. So imagine if Altergeist had that crap as well. where you just like flip over like skill drain or like secret village or something garbage like that, where you just randomly archetypally have a floodgate, and it's the best thing your deck can do, and also kind of the only thing your deck can do. Then yeah, that's kind of what you're going to have to do, because that's the only support you got. So that'd be like same energy as if we just erased Sprite Carrot and Sprite Red from the game, and then we just slapped in, instead of like Sprite Double Cross, we have like Sprite. You can't summon a monster that's higher than Link 2, Level 2, Rank 2, or whatever. And it's just like a continuous or lingering floodgate or some garbage. And then that's what Sprite would be if we just followed the trends of these garbage floodgate decks, you know, or garbage floodgate cards. In fact, if we go to Snake Eye, you know, we could do that also. Delete Flambridge. Flambridge no longer exists. Who cares? And then, yeah, we keep everything else, I think, honestly. And it's just fine. And then we just throw in a Snake Eye card that just says some garbage like the same crap as the Sprite thing, really. Your opponent or both players, something like that. It could be lingering or it could be continuous. You cannot special summon monsters aside from level 1 monsters. And then it just becomes like horrendous. Unless you're playing exactly the mirror, I guess. In which some cases, some of these kind of cook you even in the mirror, like Mimical. Of course, you want normal and special summon your cards. With Ghost Meets Girl, like you, in sheer annoying stuff, you want to just open, or no, you want to still do the actions that are prohibited first. With Vanquish Soul, I guess that'd be the only deck that would be fine in this theoretical situation. But yeah. Just reducing a deck to just a single Floodgate is terrible. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.